Alright, should be live. Hello guys, happy Friday. Welcome back to my stream. Today we're going to be working on ZoBee again. And what I've already done ahead of time is kind of finishing up her retopology. And then I've also kind of started on her UVs. They're actually done, the UVs. I wanted to kind of speed that process up because I feel like we already covered that with Project Ergot quite extensively. So I wanted to just go ahead and try and push this project towards the texturing phase because I know that's what everyone's more excited about. Um, and so yeah, let's not waste any time and just get started from where we were. So her UVs aren't finished just yet, but I did make all the shapes. So let's take a look at that for a second. So I'm just going to, oh, and let me put on some music as well. So I kind of created all her UV shapes already. So now we just need to figure out like where to organize the shapes. So we're going to be doing that for a little bit and try and wrap up that UV sheet so we can go on to texturing. So something I have to keep in mind about Zoe's base skin, and all of her skins actually, is that she has two texture sheets. So she has one texture sheet for her entire hair and usually whatever hat she's wearing, and whatever bangs or whatever. So that's usually one texture sheet, and then her entire body is its own texture sheet separately from that. And they're both 512 by 512. So we're going to be splitting a 1024 by 1024 texture into two textures instead. So we're going to be optimizing to put all of her hair and the hat and the bangs and all that into one UV. So I've kind of just roughly threw all those together. So I'm just going to take all the shapes from her main body and just throw that somewhere on this left side. And then the other side will be her hair. So this is all part of her body. See, this one is the necklace, so that's going to be there. And then I also have the other assets that with the toys that she's going to be playing with. So she has the yo-yo and the rope, jump rope, and the ice cream, which I've decided to replace with this, like, I don't know what this is called, but it's like the wooden stick that you put honey on. So that's going to be a replacement for the ice cream because I think it'll work perfectly with that animation and fits thematically. So we're going to put all that on her body texture as well. So another thing for Zoe is that pretty much on all of the textures, every single UV shell is about the same size. Except of course for areas where we want to optimize and put less detail on. So I'm going to try and keep everything at the same size and texture quality. So I'm just going to grab the biggest part of the UV and just plop it in there. And then we're just organizing. So I'm not going to try and make like the backside or the underside of her hair much smaller UV because it does kind of move around a lot and we do see the underside quite a bit. So I want to keep everything on like the same texture quality. So I want to grab her hat and we're also going to plop this into that same UV, I think. I think so. Let's see. I'm actually not sure if I should. I think I will. I'll just put it with the hair. I might need those hat UVs to be a bit bigger, because the detail on those really matter because of how big it is on her model. Also, whoops, I'm kind of hiding the chat here. Hi Senpai. Hi Harpy, welcome to the stream. It's nice to have you here. Alright, I'm gonna grab all of her petals here. I won't make the petals as big as the actual hat, so we are gonna kind of create some division with the texture quality there. The ones that are facing towards us are going to be much higher resolution. I haven't seen anything League related since Vanguard announcement. Feels good to see good art coming. True. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it's uncertain time, but regardless, I'm still going to keep creating League related content. I do have plans later on in the year if for some reason we can't make any custom skins, to continue with one idea that I have and bring it into Unity instead of League. And I have plans to make them like a recall animation and just do it like it's going to be just conceptual because people can't really play with it, which kind of sucks, but it's still going to exist, and I'll do some videos on it. Yeah, it's just going to be like a portfolio kind of piece, conceptual presentation basically. I'm just making sure all of the pieces of the hair are in this UV. I'm not sure what this is. I can move it over. Just kind of flip it around, rotate, do whatever I need to do to tuck it into that space. Looks like this is the hairbang. So the undersides of these don't really need to be that high resolution, so they can be a much smaller size. Although it looks like they're pretty small already, so maybe I don't need to worry about making them even smaller. Shift that over. I miss doing harpy skins. Yeah. I mean, you can still keep creating. I think we have just this month left, basically. Maybe February, because it might not be till February or March, I think. So you can still squeeze out one more skin that people can play with and make videos on. I'm not sure, but Zoe might be my last official like playable custom skin. Or it will be Fairy Court Braum, we'll see. I think Fairy Court Braum still has quite a ways to go, because right now it's on the conceptual stage. Your last skin must be Katarina's skin? True. A good one to end stuff, yeah. At one point I was thinking to, because I did make that like quote-unquote Battle Queen Katarina legendary skin, or ultimate skin, I think. the one where you can change forms and also change the SKN or the model completely. I was thinking about making like all of her concepts of Battle Queen into the different forms. So it's basically like the same thematic, the same kind of skin, but every single dagger is a different Katarina concept. But she was missing a few that I had to make from scratch, make concepts for. So that was one idea I had. That would be like an ultimate skin, but I think an ultimate skin is too ambitious for how little time we have. I think I could put all of her flower petals on her main body UV. I might have enough space there. Because these are pretty small. Actually, I think there's enough space. True, thanks to you, Harpy Queen, cutting to Kim True. You're welcome. So I actually redid the flower petal UVs. I know we made those UVs at the same time that we created the model, but they were a little bit high poly, and they were kind of adding polygons that we didn't need. So I went ahead and just kind of merged all the petals together instead of keeping them separate. And then I redid the UVs. So now the UV just actually looks like a flower, which is cool. That's going to be quite helpful for texturing in 2D. So I believe we have all of the head here. Let's grab the antennas. Okay, let's kind of drag it out. Yeah, that looks right. All right, so our hair, UV, and the whole head is complete. So we have that as one UV sheet. And then now we're going to grab the body and start organizing that. I'm not sure what this UV was. Okay, this was the pair of wings that I put for the bee. This one. So that's going to be quite small. I also made one small design edit to the overall concept, and that is the little bee wings on our back. I think it'd be cute because all of the bee skins have wings, and Sia Xiao didn't include that on her concept. I mean, I guess maybe these are wings, but I think those are supposed to be flower petals, like the white ones, so she'll have little wings that'll always be flapping. We're gonna add like an idle animation that's always gonna be playing. So I thought that'd be kind of a cute little addition. This is the top of the flower skirt. And then this, same size. And then the other underside that we don't really see that much is gonna be a lot smaller. Alright, so these are the undersides. I'm going to keep those together. Oops. Looks like the left and right are not aligned. So these need to be mirrored. Luckily, for me, this design has a lot of mirroring happening. So the texture quality is going to be a lot higher than if it weren't. This is the bee yo-yo. safe and sound. I see your beauty shine. Alright, all these UVs are going to be about the same. We're never lost, even in the world. And so it goes on. We are fine. Above the fires, as we watch the stars, there will never be lost. This is the necklace. Necklace I'm probably going to keep a little bit large because the UV seems like it's going to lend itself to a lot of compression. So that's why I want it a bit larger. And let's grab all this and kind of move it closer. Never asked me to change a thing. They say I'm on fire, but our hearts were burning from more. See you be shy. We make you every time. Our hearts every time. One at a time. Alright, what's this UV? Oh, this is the underside of the comb. Oh, that's what it's called, the honeycomb, right? Love the music choices. Thank you. This is the Riot Creator Safe playlist, and it's just playing the ones that I picked out. Also, hi, hello, Hexen, welcome to the stream. As we watch the stars, there will never be long. I don't know what she says there. Oh, the little bee. Put him right there. Organizing UVs is basically like a puzzle piece. You're just kind of figuring out where things fit. This part of the UV is so, like, we really don't see it at all. So it can be really tiny. This is like the underside of the honeycomb. Or the honey, whatever. I don't know what that thing's called. This thing. Alright, this is the neck UV. A little bit of skin that we see. So this can be quite small. It's mostly hidden behind her hair. Just kind of fitting it in there. And then what's this? That is also part of the honeycomb, I think. Oh wait, this is the top of the honeycomb. I actually don't need this. I can just delete it because we really don't see it at all. So there's no point to waste polygons. Right now she's looking to be 16K tries, which is perfect. That's exactly the range that we want to be at for League. This is the jump rope. And that is the yo-yo string. What's this? This is a necklace. So the necklace here, it just seems to be like a brown leather texture. Finally made it to the stream. Welcome, Puffball. Thank you for joining the stream. We're almost done with the UVs here. I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller. Okay, and then these are the undersides, right? So make sure those are quite small. What is this? This is the, okay, this is like the back of the necklace. Oh God, I really hate Vanguard. Yup. I'm gonna make sure these are the same size as the main rope. And just kind of place those together. Yeah, it's really unfortunate. But doesn't mean we stop what we're doing with creating and creating concepts and models and textures. Change is difficult, but we adapt. And who knows, maybe we'll find a workaround to Vanguard. I'm at work, time to watch Bearded. Hey, Gortog. Nice to have you here. So I'm just trying to see if I can make space for these hands. Ah, yes, the best thing to boost any workflow. Yep. Kind of see if I can plop that there. I think hands can usually be quite annoying to figure out where to place them because their shapes are all over the place. This is the B-wing. I think I can make it a bit smaller. This is actually the eyelashes. What is this UV? So the bottom of that little wand. I'm gonna make that smaller. I'm gonna plop it there. Bearded, quick question. If you look how Riot does their UV to arrange the hands, do you know if they do it manually or if there is a tool? So what he's talking about, for those of you who don't know, sometimes when Riot does their UVs, they kind of like chop it off here at the wrist, and then that kind of allows them to have this straight edge, so that when it's on the UV, it looks like this instead of like this. So that's actually done manually. They straighten that edge there, and then they will like kind of manually try to move the hands to be straight. So there is no tool for that. It does take time to actually manipulate the hand to do that. I don't think it's really necessary for Zoe, especially because I don't have that straight edge there. So I'm not going to really waste any time trying to like spend minutes trying to work that out. I don't think it's necessary. I think I can put the sleeve there. That kind of allows a bit more room. If you look into Udyr any skin and look at the hand, they make a very straight hand. It takes work for each step of making a skin, and it's annoying. Yeah, it does. I'm gonna make this bee, or yo-yo bee, a little bit bigger. I'm gonna move this little cap here. Yeah, there's a lot of things to really consider whenever you make any 3D model in general. Actually, it's not that easy. You kind of have to be a pro at pretty much everything. But usually when you work at a company, like especially a large game company, you just have to have enough skill to be good at your craft, and then they kind of have other people to take care of the rest. But I think like indie studios, it's better to be more skilled at a lot of things on top of being really skilled at like one particular thing that you're being hired for. So right now I'm just trying to enlarge the UVs to fill up some of the space that we have. Make sure I increase the texture quality as much as possible. So I'm just trying to see where that's applicable. I have foot here, I can make a little bit bigger. I can make the bottom of the foot a little bit smaller. And I guess the shoulder here I can make a bit bigger. See if I can like rotate it this way. Okay. Just trying to fill up as many gaps as possible. That's why Riot has teams to do each step. Yeah, they work in pods of like an animator. They have, I guess, a rigging artist or somebody who deals with like the control rig and all that. I don't know if they're the same as the animator. I'm not sure. And then they have like a concept artist, the 3D artist, VFX artist, and I don't know what else to have. I think that's good enough for her UVs. So I'm quite pleased with that. So what I'm going to do is get her ready for substance. So I'm just going to take everything and just plop it towards the middle. So that way I don't have my symmetry line like offset or anything in Substance Painter, because that's really annoying to readjust. Okay, and then the B here. I want to make sure that I'm like dead center of that particular tube. So I'm going to use the snapping, kind of line the pivot. Somewhere around there. Okay. That's good enough for me. Sorry for the coughing. Alright, and then I'm going to take the jump rope. Now this is a bit bigger than her, so I could try sizing it down. That might not be a problem. And then later on, when I'm ready to like rig her, I can size it back up to the normal size. So I want to make sure the symmetry line, like the furthest that her whole mesh extends, is her arms, or her hands, I mean. Okay, great. Alright, and then I usually take the whole body. Let's see. Just combine it, make sure everything is merged, 0.01. And then we duplicate her down there. And what I'm going to do is separate out her whole head UV. And we want to see if we can get, oops, what's going on there? If we can get some angles that we don't really see with, okay, I'm just going to separate by mesh then. With how she is up there. So I want to be able to see like the underside of the bottom of the skirt here, where it doesn't have that pedal. Oops, her foot is detached. Underneath that skirt, so that way we have this separate layer. And then we can kind of paint that separately. And then her necklace is going to be by itself. So I can paint the underside of that. And then the wings, because it's mirrored, I'm just going to delete the other side. And that way, when I turn the camera over to this side, I can actually see the other side. Even though those UVs are mirrored like across this edge loop here. So it doesn't really matter, I can just paint one side. Hold up, my DPI and the mouse just got a little bit higher by accident. So this one is also mirrored, I'm just going to delete the other side. And then the hat, I want to separate out from the hair. The petals, I want to keep separate as well. So we're going to separate those, and then kind of need to move everything down just a bit. I want her hair. Okay, that's going to be separate, and then don't really care about her eyelashes, I don't think. But her eyeballs are going to be there. Let's see, center pivot. Let's drag those down. And then we have her teeth and tongue. And then her hat is completely separate. So there we go. And then what I'm going to do, I actually made a base body for Zoe that's textured. So what I'm going to do is just transfer that texture over onto this body, and then later on I can use that as like a base for the skin. So this is the base body I created. It's just basically her without any clothes, censored of course, because she's a child. And then what we're going to do is transfer this texture over. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So I'm going to go to rendering, transfer maps, and we're going to clear all. So my target mesh, which is the mesh that I want to transfer the texture onto, is going to be this UV, or this whole mesh. So I'm going to create that as, I'm going to hit add select, add selected, and then this is going to be the source mesh. So I'm going to add selected for that. And then we want to make sure that we're only on diffuse. So just a diffuse map, and then I can create a name for that. So I'm going to call it Zoe transfer, and then save. And then we're going to make sure that's PNG file format. You don't need to connect the map to the shader. That's not necessary. That's just if you want to preview it in Maya, but we don't need to do that. And then you set your Maya common output texture resolution. So I believe, let me see what resolution this is. This is 8K. Not that we need to be that high anyways, but it's going to be 4K. Just we're going to keep it at that. And then we're going to bake. And so that's going to take a little bit of time to process. A child, she's 1 million whatever years old. Well, I don't care where it says she's a child. She has the proportions. So we're going to give that a little bit of time to process. Looks like it's going quite fast. So you can see the progress bar here at the bottom. It says 35% right now. What the hell? I've never done this part. Yeah, this part is really useful. That's why I make base bodies with textures, because whenever you guys create skins for champions that I've created base bodies for, you can just transfer over the texture onto your new UVs. This is applicable whenever you're creating brand new UVs for a champion for whatever reason. Also, if you are reusing a model from League, I know a lot of people like reuse parts and pieces from other skins. So instead of doing like, this is what I call Yora's way. Yora's way, she kind of divides the texture up into like 4 squares. And so what that does is basically you're cutting down the original texture by like about 25% or 50%, I think. But yeah, no, 75%. It's actually a lot. So that reduces the texture quality a lot. So instead of doing that, what you can do is actually, like, you can use those pieces again, just place them where you want to place them, and then make a duplicate of those meshes, and then you can create new UVs. So that way you have everything kind of mapped out and organized. Okay, so it looks like it finished. And then you can just transfer the texture on, like the original mesh texture, transfer that texture onto the new UVs. And that will help keep the texture quality high. So we're going to call this ZoBee. What's this for again? This is for transferring textures. And so yeah, you'll have to create new UVs and just kind of keep everything like a high or very large size, or their original size even, if possible. I know you're probably going to have to reorganize the UVs quite a bit, so you can always transfer it over. Don't worry about that. So that's my recommended way, instead of just doing the Euro split by 4 squares kind of way. That's if you really care about the texture quality, which I certainly do. So, oops. What I'm actually going to do is take her body here. The jump rope and all that, we're going to keep that with her body. Combine. I'm actually going to export this by itself. ZoBee. Do you need to edit any bin for that? No, you don't. You actually don't. That's only if you're using, like, you can use multiple materials too, if you want to just have like the original quality texture, or reuse the same texture map. But no, you don't have to use any bins. So right now we're just baking all of the maps. The normal, the world, space, animate occlusion, curvature. I can see it's getting quite laggy, right? We're just waiting. Okay. I can see this stream is quite laggy, and that's because I was baking at 4K for some reason. Anyways, we successfully baked all the textures. Is my stream back to normal quality? Okay, yes it is. I shouldn't have baked at 4K, but whatever. I'm going to see the ambient occlusion, see how that looks. Oh, okay, I see what the problem is. I accidentally forgot that I made the hair UVs on the other side, so what I need to do is actually set up my project for that. So I'm going to create a new project, and you have to click this button, use UV tile workflow. And what this allows you to do, if you're using multiple squares, then you can now bake as normal. So I'm going to go down to just 1K, and hopefully that'll move a lot quicker and not lag the stream. Alright, so we're good. Now we're good. I'm going to check the ambient occlusion again. Okay, here we are. Perfect. This is exactly what we want to get started. So I'm just going to decrease the FOV. I completely decrease it all the way, so it's kind of like an orthographic view. And then we're also going to bring in our texture that we transferred. Oops, I accidentally canceled. I was clicking. Alright, so we're going to call this the skin layer, and this will reuse the texture that we created. So I just want to select all the areas where she has visible skin, so that would be her legs. Doing this UV transfer, it's going to kind of like warp things a little bit if you don't have them like perfectly aligned to the mesh that you transferred from. So let's see. So that's all the areas of visible skin, her toes, the hands, face, okay. And then we can start creating our masks. So the first layer we're going to start with, I think, is the hair. I'm going to select all the hair. I can tell which one's the hair because it's very organic shape. Okay. Now we're going to call that hair. like my Udyr skin that I made, do I use that? Yeah, you could if you're reusing meshes from League, or to keep going with what I was doing. I don't know if you were using the quad method, but if you want to keep the texture quality high, then I recommend you do the way that I just showed you. So I'm just going to set up a very basic gradient here, just kind of color picking from the concept. Adjust the colors. Get a bit more red. This looks a bit too bright. I usually like to pick dark colors for my gradient because I like to paint the actual highlights. So this is kind of a salmon kind of color. Alright, and then we'll worry about the yellow and all that later. Okay, so we have the hair layer. The next thing I want to do is the yellow dress. So we're going to add a black mask. And I'm going to have to, oh my gosh, I don't know. I hate that we see that. I have to texture that differently. Okay, I'm going to select all the areas with her dress. So it's kind of hard to see because of the skin, the top that we made. Okay, so we're just kind of outlining the dress. Okay, then I'm going to switch over to the UV mode and just select from there. Cool. Can't tell if that's her skin. Okay, yeah. So we'll have to paint skin there. Right now it's just using the texture that we transferred. So I'm going to set this to the yellow gradient that we have. Just kind of color picking. Again, I want to keep this relatively dark. Oh, and let me put my ambient occlusion. Cool. And yellow kind of is a tough color to work with. So something you have to keep in mind about yellow is that whenever you go down in value color, you need to shift it slightly towards orange. So I'm just going to copy here from, I believe, Malzahar's texture and just make sure that that color is consistent. You can see how the color is kind of shifting to an orange, and that keeps it nice and saturated and away from that disgusting yellow mustard color. And then, so now we have the dress. Actually, I'm just going to call this yellows. And we'll just also select the hat here. And the puffs, everything that's yellow on the concept. I might as well select the B as well. And I think that's about it. Then the next thing we need to do is the, actually I'm going to set these petals down here as the same layer as her hair, because that's about the same color. Let me also shift this towards that pink. Kind of keep it saturated, maybe slightly towards purple. Cool. All right, and then the next thing that we do is the whites. So I'm going to clear this mask after I, duplicated it. White and clear mask. Oh, this looks so wrong. All right, just coloring, just selecting all of the areas with the white colors. That would be the flower petals as well. Don't worry, we'll change the gradient. Okay, where else does she have whites? She has whites here. And then we'll select her wings as well. And these little petals here, but we'll have to adjust that later. So now I'm going to select my colors. With white, you usually want to keep it kind of towards a bluish tone. You can also go kind of greenish. I mean, it depends what skin or thematic you're working in. So just like Siao Sia did, we're going to kind of keep it towards a blue. And then what I want to do is adjust the levels. And kind of brighten up those values. Keep it towards blue. I think we put too much black. Alright, and then I'm going to edit the mask and get rid of the hat. Cool. Anywhere else, the honey here is also kind of yellow, so let's keep that yellow too. I'm going to select all of the related UV shells. Okay. Oh, and she has white here. Where else does she have white? Oh, the bee's wings, of course. Okay, cool. And then the last thing we have to do is select the areas of green. So I'm going to clear the mask and select all those areas. I'm going to change the gradient already just to get that done. Just going to manually create colors. I want it to slightly shift towards blue as it goes darker. Okay, I think that works. Alright, so where does she have green? She has green on the trim of her hoodie. I think we'll just paint that. Not gonna worry about that right now. Her neck is green. It's gonna look pretty cursed for a little bit, but we're not ready for hand painting just yet. And then she has visible skin here, so I need to make that visible. Where else does she have green? I'm just gonna make the seed green. And on her leg, she has green. Where is that? Where is her leg? Well, where is her leg? Oh, okay, it's here. It's really hard to see because I already have the texture here. So I'm just going to create an outline. I can actually also turn off or turn on my wireframe. So wireframe, let's set it to black, and that kind of makes it more visible. And I'm just kind of selecting the outlines, and then I'll go into the 2D view and fill it up. Pouring the gasoline, yeah, I'm making press of all my screws. Margin of evil. Margin of evil. I feel like we've listened to this song quite a bit on our streams. It's not my favorite song. Just selecting the outlines and we'll fill it up. Alright, oh, and her shoes are also green. So we'll paint the skin, the visible skin area later. I actually should have done the opposite way, so just only masking away areas of visible skin instead of trying to get rid of, or just paint in the green. I feel like this process could have helped me. Alright, so we have the green there. Let's turn off the wireframe and then bring back her skin. Alright, so it looks like I'm gonna make this underside white. So those are flower petals. It looks like we just have brown and like blacks left. So I'm gonna keep that both on the same layer. We're just gonna call it like browns, I guess. And actually I'm gonna duplicate so I can reuse. Clear mask. Where's clear mask? Clear mask. And browns. Alright, so we're just gonna keep this pretty dark, I guess. Can always go back and I'm actually gonna color pick from Malzahar and just select those same dark colors. Cool. Select the antenna here, the necklace. And what else? The honeycomb is, or this thing is brown. Oh, and this needs to be green, all this, the leaves. This will be green. And then I'm going to set the actual handles to brown. This is the default rope that she has. I just kind of added little leaves and stuff. That's also the default yo-yo string because it was already created, so I don't want to create something different. So we have all that, and then what else do we need? Oh, there's a little bit of brown that we need to put here. Cap. Where else? I think that's it. She's got the flower petal, like center, or the flower stem. I don't know what that's called. The bulb. We'll color that in the same layer too. Whatever. Alright. So now we are, oops. I'm going to actually select her eyelashes as well, even though they're not painted on the transfer texture. And then we're going to add a paint layer and just set those to black. Okay. Also going to select her teeth and her tongue and all that on the inside. Cool. All right. So she looks pretty bad right now, but that's okay. We're ready to start texturing. So I'm just going to start with the soft brush and just start cleaning up some of the areas where we have visible skin. So I would like to have all of my, so I'm going to say this. YouTube recommended your stream to me. Good content. Thank you, Nada. I skipped too many steps. Green on the hair, underside. Oh, there's green on the underside? No, there's not. Alright, so I have all of my masks set up. So now I can grab, and also the ambient occlusion and all that, so we can grab all the separated meshes and export that. And bring it into our scene project configuration, ZoBee. And just in case I saved my scene before I imported the object, just in case it messes up with my layers, and it doesn't seem to have had to, so we're good. Oh, I'm going to select the eyeballs here on the hat here, the beanie. Cute. YouTube recommended stream to guitar. Look closer. Where? There's no green. There is no green. Alright. So I think the first thing I'll start with is the hair. And her hair is pretty bright. But I want this to be a bit darker. So that I can actually paint those bright areas. I feel like the hair is going to be a lot of fun to paint on this skin. I'm just going to select a midtone. And then we're going to take the highlight and just plop those down. Hey, hi Lakshay Kumar. I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce that correctly. Lakshay, I assume it's going to be said that way, but thank you for joining the stream. So I'm just kind of texturing, plopping down where those highlights are going to be. Oops. I wonder if this UV is kind of messed up. That might be the case. Because, yeah, whenever you paint on it and it's like doing this weird, like, what the heck is happening there? It's not painting accurately. That's because the UV is messed up. So we're going to have to redo that later. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm just painting those areas of highlights. And I'm just going to paint all this as if it were regular hair instead of the honey at the end. And we'll paint the honey afterwards. Because the way I'm thinking about it is like the honey kind of layers on top of the hair. Okay, it's good enough for now. And I'm gonna wrap up the stream here pretty soon, guys. I'm sorry, I know there's some of you that just joined, but we are getting over our 1 hour mark, and that's all I have time for. So I'm just gonna plop in those highlights for the yellows. So if you guys have any questions or comments that you want to make before I wrap up the stream, please go ahead and do that and I'll get to them. The hat could have been bigger with green undercoats. Yeah, I guess. But I really liked the way that Siao Sia did the concept. So I think she did a great job of integrating ZoBee into the universe while making her look unique at the same time. So the top of the model is going to be a lot brighter than the lower half, so it's going to be pretty bright. So I'm just painting areas that catch light from that top-down view. And then let's paint some of the green highlights as well. So she kind of keeps her greens as like an aqua highlight, I think. Which, I wonder if it's consistent with somebody. Maybe Ziggs, like the flower petals he has. Begar, I think he has like a yellow highlight. I'm just going to, I think I'll keep the mitten, I'm not sure. It does look pretty aqua, so I think I'll just do like a blue highlight and then kind of keep the midtones with a little bit of a brighter green, like actual green. Just looking at the top-down view. Okay. And what else can we do? I'm gonna paint her skin now. I didn't really feel comfortable painting Zoe completely nude for the base body for obvious reasons. So I have to go back and actually paint some of the newly visible skin. I'm gonna wrap up the stream in 5 minutes. I believe this is where her collarbone is. I'm not sure. Actually, it should be higher. Add some shadow. And she's gonna need her shoulder blades and back anatomy. So I'm just gonna roughly place that. I believe the shoulder would be shoulder blade be around there. Okay. And then on the underside, under her skirts, we're going to make it brown. Or, because I kind of want to just blend it with the dress. I don't want it to be like something for the pervs to look at. Fucking sick fucks. I hate that I have to do this on stream, but we're covering it up. No. Alright. I think that might be fine. I'm not sure. I mean, if it were up to me, I'd give her like a little pair of shorts, but... Okay, and the necklace. I'm actually going to make it the yellow layer. Actually, no. I'll keep it where it is. So this one is actually kind of a leafy yellow-green. So that's going to help with adding a bit of interest to the necklace because it's actually a different kind of green. It's more yellow in color rather than green. And it kind of, it's pretty slim where it is. So I'm just roughly plopping down areas of light. And then her little necklace, or not necklace, forget what it's called. Choker, I guess, is kind of greenish. I don't know why I say greenish, as if you guys know. Yellowish, I mean. Like a yellow-green. So that's a different color, and then she has a trim here as well. So let's make a mask for that. I'm gonna look at this separated dress. Oops, not sure where that plopped it there. So I'm just selecting by polygons. Deselect. Deselect. So this whole set of polygons is gonna be the trim. And you have a missing green there. Cool. Now we have our little green trim. And this one also appears to be more yellowish. And color pick from the concept. Always on the like underneath the arms, there's going to be a bit of shadow. Also, the back of her head, I think, will have quite a bit of shadow because obviously there's like this big chunk of hair that is lingering behind her. There's a little bit of green there that I need to get rid of. All right, and then the back side, let's see. So we are at our 1 hour mark here. So I'm going to just end things here. So we finished creating the UVs. We were successfully able to map everything out and create 2 separate UV tiles. So that way we can go in and have 512 by 512 textures for each one. And yeah, now we're ready to, we got to a little bit to the texturing phase. We set up our masks. There's still a little bit of stuff that I need to do. Like there's some more masking that I need to do. Like here, let me just do that really quickly. But I will mostly just be painting those whenever I'm ready to paint those. So like, for example, this little brown line here, I'm going to paint that for the brown mask later whenever I am ready to get to that area. And then obviously the dress as well. But yeah, I think that's it for today, guys. We got her ready for texturing. She's textured a little bit, but this kind of sets us up for success later on for next week. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll be streaming. So I'm just going to go down to 2 streams a week instead of 3 because I'm quite busy this month and I have a lot of things that I have to work on and get to. So I'm just unfortunately going to be shifting down to 2 streams. So what I might do is stream on like Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday, or I can try to go for Fridays because I know a lot of you seem to tune in on Fridays. So I could do like Thursday, Friday. So whatever it's going to be like back to back. So it'll be that day and then the day after, and then no streams for the rest of the week. But yeah, that's what to expect for next week. We'll be working. I think I think we'll only be working on ZoBee next week. I think Fairy Court Brahm, he still has quite a ways to go because he's in the conceptual stage. Yeah, I want to finish Zoe before Vanguard gets to League. So I want to make her playable for you guys. And she might be my last skin. We'll see. Last playable skin. But yeah, thank you guys for joining the stream. I'll see you guys next week. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and share the video with your friends if you feel like it was helpful for you. And yeah, that's all for today. See you guys next week. Bye. All right, we end.